men cannot always be doing these things. You want to keep yourself away from men, so you need to pick up courses in STEM.
So, how do how do we encourage girls to go into ICT?
Awareness, and then exposing them to what STEM is all about. As it is now, there's this issue of them not even being aware. Personally, when I was in secondary school, I didn't even know much about STEM or engineering. All we knew is medicine. Our dreams then were, once we graduate, is either to be a medical doctor or a pharmacy, and then the next option is law. So we're not aware of courses in STEM and then what is happening in STEM. So awareness is the major thing, and then telling them that, okay, picking courses in STEM does not make you go against your religion. No, it doesn't. But instead, it makes you even fulfill part of the requirements of your religion. So awareness is the key thing that we need to do.
Yeah, but in your opinion, do you think that Nigeria is actually gender friendly most especially when it comes to in this kind of sector? Is Nigeria gender friendly in your sector and generally? Well,
initially it wasn't, but I think now they are being more receptive of it, because initially the men were seeing us like, I'm sure our senior colleagues, we've heard from them, they were seeing them as these people are trying to compete with us, go back and stay home. I also had some personal experiences like that. I was on a site working, and then some group of doctors came and light went off, and then I had to go fix it. And I wasn't so strong. They came and pulled me out and said, "Madam, if you faint, we will inject you, we will know how to revive you. We are doctors." When women refuse to stay in their place, they refuse to stay in the kitchen. You are coming here, you are coming to the field to rub shoulders with us. So after I got that fixed, then they were now like, "Okay, madam, can we take you back to your room?" And I said, "No, I will walk back to the room." So, but in recent times, we've seen men that encourages us, and I mean, they are more receptive. Currently, Nigerian Society of Engineers, after 65 years, produced their first female president. Yeah, exactly. So that's to show that we are making progress. And I hope in the next maybe 5 years or less than that, we'll see more women in STEM, in ICT, in engineering, in technology, and in mathematics. And then we women, we are also trying to do a lot to bring to create awareness in schools, to expose children from young age to STEM and what can be done with STEM.
So just to follow up to that question, you find out that so many of these, ladies, especially on social media, instead of getting themselves engaged in things like STEM, they find themselves on the other side of it. How do we need to use, most especially, a tool that is meant to be used for a tool? I mean, social media, STEM is a tool that is meant to be used on social media. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
How do we navigate that part?
It still boils back to awareness. Most of them, there's this general notion that, okay, anybody that is on social media knows how to use social media.
Exactly.
Or that. But it's not always true. I mean, currently you see a lot of trainings going on, like, okay, you can actually do more with this. You can actually do more with this. And so awareness, once they are aware of what they can do, what they can create with those tools and opportunities they have, I believe it will convince them more. And then seeing what has been done before, seeing that, okay, somebody has done it and then it had worked. So I believe that will convince them also. It's like wooing someone. You try to woo them and show them, okay, if you do this, you can get this, you can get this, you can get that.
What are the available platforms do you think that girls can be able to get, probably do design and that are tech-driven solutions? What are those available?
There are so many of them. I can't name all of them offhand. And then design solutions are specific to what you're designing. Like, okay, let me start. AutoCAD. You can do architectural designs. You can do electrical, mechanical, and structural design. So you have AutoCAD MEP, you have AutoCAD for structures, you have SketchUp, you have for panel designs, then there used to be Amtech, and I think it's still there. you have dialogues for lighting design. So and then you have helioscope for renewable energy design. So there are different softwares or apps or tools for different designs. So there are so many of them that out there. I might not be able to name all of them.
I want us to go back to that social media question that I asked before. So you found that, this happened to a lot of girls. Men do it, but because we're focusing on women, especially girls. You see them on TikTok, you see them on Facebook, you see them on Instagram. Probably nakedness and all of those things. It's a big distraction for some people.
Yeah.
How do you think that we need to channel that energy? What is the method to channel that energy for them to use it for the right source, going into tech space?
When I see ladies or girls doing that, I think it has to do with their self-worth. We in the North, I would say we are more conservative, and so even while we are being trained, while they are bringing us up, we are made to understand whether you are a Christian or a Muslim, you are supposed to cover up. And then why are you supposed to cover up? There's a general story that we're told then anything valuable is covered. And so people that have such backgrounds, you don't see them flaunting their bodies. So it's about self-worth. When you know what your body is worth, when you know what you are worth. And then I, as a Christian, I was taught, and it's in the Bible, that my body is a temple of God. If my body is a temple of God, then it's not supposed to be exposed or be seen by everyone. It is supposed to be kept God-worthy. It is supposed to be kept where when God comes, he will see, yes, this is a worthy abode for me. And so it's about self-worth, it's about values, it's about discipline. So we have to go back to that and telling them you don't need to show off yourself. Yesterday I was watching something, I think there was a program done somewhere, the vice president was there, where they invited Kiss Daniel and he was performing and he was fully covered. And then the ladies that were dancing were almost naked. And then I was telling my sister, I was like, just look at this. He's fully, in fact, the men will wear clothes and you would think heat will kill them. And then the ladies are there exposing themselves. And then after the group of ladies finished dancing, a group of boys or guys came on stage and they were well clothed too. And so I was like, why do we need to do this? So it's about self-value. We need to go back to that and then start teaching our children. It has to start from home, to value ourselves, home and school. Instill all those values and then make people carry their heads up high. You don't need to expose yourself. You don't need to showcase your body. So when we go back to the roots, we'll address what is happening on social media.
Going back to the roots, because sometimes it might be a bit contradicted. And I said so because we're trying to sell a market of people should go into tech space.
Yeah.
Most especially when it has to do with the girl child. You find that ladies at a young age, for example, parents, you see parents giving their children smartphones, yes, or smart devices, to use at a very young age. Some of them expose them to the negative side of it.
Yeah.
But in trying to merge up those two, bringing them young, let them know what is available, learning the tech skills at a very young age. How do we now not also, when they grow up, not also
be caught up in the negative
exactly
aspect. Yeah, so if
so there's a place of parenting.
Yes.
There's also the place of the person who is handed something over to.
Yes. So parenting, once you have those values, you have a solid foundation from parenting and school, the early stage school. You put in those values, then honestly, I think you've done humanly, your human efforts, you've done all you can, because whether we like it or not, the world is moving towards this tech, or it has even moved. We are trying to catch up in Nigeria. Yeah. The world has moved already. So our children will keep being exposed to this tech
tech space.
Spaces, yes. So what we need to do, like I said, is go back to parenting and those places where you have those values. In Sunday school, then most of the verses that I can say offhand now is from Sunday school then when I was a child, not as an adult. So are those things being taught? Even as parents, do we teach? Currently, you see some parents like you see some children being dressed in a very awkward way, and then you wonder, why is the parent of this little child dressing her like this? You understand? So what do you expect that child to do when he or she grows up? So, I mean, we need to go back to...
So I also want us to look at, how can women and girls have access to, some level of leadership training and career developing in ICT, because it's very important at this particular point in time. Like you said, the world has moved. Nigeria is trying to catch up. I think Nigeria has catch up to a large extent. But, now the girl child needs to be more involved.
Yes.
So how do we make that happen, knowing fully well that the independence of that is the economic independence for the whole family?
Well, there are so many opportunities out there. It's for us to key into it. And then I really like to appreciate the government because they are doing their best. They are creating opportunities. So being aware that those opportunities are there will help the women to key into it. So keying into it, and then when you have the passion, I developed myself personally. I would say I had opportunities, but I also went that extra mile to build up myself, and that's what you see today. So, but you have to be aware of the values or of what you are looking at, the future you are looking at. So opportunities are there. There are so many opportunities, even in the international space. There are so many opportunities that are encouraging women. There are grants. There are a lot of trainings that are available for women. So it's for women to key into it. And then how will they key into it is for them knowing that these opportunities are available. And then mentoring from our senior colleagues, guiding the younger ones aright. They are the ones that will show them, oh, you have this grant, and this grant available. Okay, and then I can put you through, and I can put you through this. So awareness, as I always say.
Interesting. On International Girls in ICT Day, we believe that the world needs to come together to ensure meaningful leadership of girls in ICT and in all diversity to ensure the strategic representation of issues that matter to them. That is a vital goal for us all, which demands that we listen to them and ensure that their influence shapes the decisions made to achieve a shared digital future. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's really nice to have you. And of course, this is a conversation that also needs to continue.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Still talking technology. Are you aware that in coming days, Nigeria will develop a policy that will set the tone for the adoption of artificial intelligence as well